study topic is assisted reproductive technologies, and it is popular by the name ARTS. So before we actually study what are ARTS, first we will see what are the reasons of infertility. And what is infertility? So first, infertility means inability to conceive naturally. Some couples are not able to become parents naturally, and that is called our infertility. So what are the causes of this infertility? First reason can be the physical retardation of sex organ. If there is a problem in the sex organ, either in ovaries or in testes. Second, if the mother, especially mother, suffering from the congenital disease, then there will be a complication, and again it leads to the infertility. Third, some drugs also have a negative impact on the fertility. Next is our immunological. What is the meaning of immunological? When the antibodies are formed against the sperm, then we say it is an immunological type of infertility. And the most important factor is a psychological factor. When a person is not psychologically healthy, if there is some stress situation, either it is a workload, any kind of stress, that can also leads to infertility. So if we specifically talk about the male and female, so in case of male, what are the reasons of this infertility? First is our oligospermia, when the sperm count is less. Normally the sperm count should be 200 to 300 million in one ejaculation, but that number if reduced, then we will say it is oligospermia, and that will lead to the infertility in case of male. Second, if there is a cancer of genital organ, then it is also responsible for the infertility. And next is our azoospermia, when the sperms are absent in the ejaculated fluid, there is no sperm, then we say it is a azoospermia condition. And when the number is less, then we say it is oligospermia. And when no sperms are present, we say it is azoospermia. There are other reasons are also, like erectile dysfunction is also there in case of male. And if we talk about the females, the most common in recent time is PCOS, that is polycystic ovary syndrome. Here the no ova is going to form, because here it is our ovary, and in this follicles are developing, and in this follicle, if you remember, ova is going to form, and that will release at 14th day of the menstrual cycle. But in case of this PCOS, that ova is not going to release, and it will convert into a fluid filled cavity, and that is called our cyst. And when these follicles convert, when number of follicles are converted into a cyst, then we say it is a polycystic. A number of cysts are present inside the ovary, because no ovulation is going to take place. So this is the most common cause of infertility in case of females. Second, hormonal imbalance. Third is a endometriosis, that is the endometrium lining that is normally lines the uterus. It is found outside the uterus, on ovaries, on fallopian tubes, then that also leads to the infertility in case of females. And there is one more common reason of infertility in case of female, that is our non-functional fallopian tubes. When the fallopian tubes block, then that will also lead to the infertility in case of female. So this PCOS and this non-functional fallopian tubes are the most common cause of infertility in case of females. And in case of male, this oligospermia and the azoospermia are the common reasons of the infertility. So what is the solution of all these problems? How such couples can become parents. So that is ARTS, that is assisted reproductive technologies. Here we will learn about the special techniques that will be used according to the problem, whether it is in female, whether it is in male. According to that, we are going to use that particular techniques. So our first technique is IVF, that is in vitro fertilization, and it is also called test tube baby, because here the fertilization takes place outside this female body. Normally the fertilization occurs in this fallopian tube in the ampulla region, that is called in vivo. That process that occurs naturally inside the female body, it is called in vivo. And when the fertilization occurs outside this female body, then we use the term in vitro. So what is the process of this IVF? First we need eggs, and we need a multiple eggs, but this ovary produce only one egg at a time, and even that egg is released on the 14th day. So for that we have to give a stimulus to this ovary. So we will inject hormone, and due to which follicles develop and a large number of eggs will be released. So we pick these eggs and transfer into a culture dish. Here the sperm is already present, which has undergo capacitation. The sperm has to undergo a number of changes so that sperm is able to fertilize the egg. So now the fertilization has taken place. Next stage is our embryo development. Here, after zygote formation, cleavage has started. If you remember, this is our zygote. It is a single cell stage. Next, there will be a division, and it will convert into a 2-cell. Again there will be a division, and it will convert into 4-cell, 8-cell. So such type of division will take, and it will come under this embryo development. And after embryo development, we are going to transfer this embryo inside the female body. So depending on at what stage we are transferring this embryo inside the female body, there are some terms. First is a GIF, that is zygote intrafallopian transfer. Here we are transferring the embryo at 8 cell. When the embryo is at 8 cell, early division, we are going to transfer it into the fallopian tube here, and it will come naturally inside this uterus, and implantation occur naturally. Second is our intrauterine transfer. Here we transfer the embryo at 32 cell stage. When the embryo is more developed, then we are going to transfer it into the uterus, and then the implantation takes place. So GIFT, so this GIFT term is used when we are transferring the embryo at 8 cells, and this IUT is used when we are transferring the embryo in the uterus at 32 cells. In this case, that is our GIFT, we are transferring the gametes, egg and the sperm, inside these fallopian tube. So under which condition this GIFT is done? When the eggs are not formed properly, or either the female produces the sperm antibodies, and because of that sperm dies as it enters in the female's reproductive tract. So in such condition, what we need egg. If the egg is not formed properly in the female, so we need egg. So we will collect that egg from the donor. First we will collect the egg from the donor, then we also collect the sperm, and we are going to transfer both the gametes into the fallopian tube of the desired mother here. So here the fertilization will take place naturally. Only we are transferring the gametes in the particular location of this fallopian tube, that is our ampulla, where the actual fertilization takes place. So here fertilization will occur naturally. It will not occur in vitro as in case of IVF. So under GIFT, fertilization occur naturally, and after fertilization that zygote undergo cleavage, divisions, and finally come in this uterus, and all the process occurs naturally. But one condition for gift is that the female have at least one functional fallopian tube. Only then this gift technique will be successful. So these are the three techniques. First is our gift, second is our IUT, and third is our gift. In both these techniques, we are transferring the embryo at different developmental stage, and in case of gift, we are transferring the gametes into the fallopian tube. So our next technique is artificial insemination. So what is the meaning of artificial insemination? We are going to collect the sperm artificially. Insemination means transfer of sperm, but we are doing that by the artificial method, not natural method. We will collect the sperm from the male and inject it into the cervix of the female. Then we say it is artificial insemination. And here also natural fertilization takes place. In vivo fertilization will occur. And what are the reasons or conditions under which this artificial insemination is performed? What is the need to inject the sperm artificially? First, when the sperm count is very less, or you can say oligospermic condition is there, so the sperms are unable to transfer or move upward. So there is a need to transfer those sperms in this cervix. Second is our erectile dysfunction. When the external genitalia of male is not able to transfer or ejaculate the sperms, then we have to go for this artificial insemination. So it is a problem in case of male. Here also, similar to the gift, natural or in vivo fertilization takes place. Second technique is our IUI, that is intrauterine insemination. Here what we are doing, we are artificially injecting or transferring the sperms little bit more upward, that is our uterus. Instead of cervix, we are going to transfer the sperms inside the uterus. Reason, if the sperm motility is not good, if the sperm is unable to move or cover the whole path up to this fallopian tube, then we will use the technique that is our intrauterine insemination. The last technique is our ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. In this, what we will do, we will inject a single sperm into the cytoplasm of ovum. This is our ovum, and what we are doing, we are injecting the sperm with the help of a needle in the cytoplasm of this egg. So this is our sperm, and it will perform under in vitro conditions. And when this ICSI technique is employed, when there is a problem with the sperm binding and penetration, or you simply say the sperm has low fertilization capability, it is unable to bind and undergo capacitation, and it is very costly method. So if we see all these three techniques, we will perform when there is a problem in case of males. So we will go for this artificial insemination, IUI, that is intrauterine insemination, or ICSI. And first three techniques, that is our gift, IUT and gift, when there is a problem in females. This is ours. First is our multiple pregnancy chances, because we are going to collect a number of eggs in case of IVF, and that will lead to multiple pregnancy, but it has also creates complication for a mother. Second, there is a risk of premature labor. Next, premature menopause can also occur in the mother, and there is a risk of ovarian cancer. That ovarian cancer chances increase 3 times as compared to a normal woman in mothers or in women who undergo these arts. And the last topic is our sexually transmitted diseases, venereal diseases, or RTI, that is reproductive tract infection. So these are the diseases which occurs due to unprotected sex. So we will discuss only the bacterial diseases that are important for exam. Rest we will discuss in human health and diseases chapter. First is our chlamydia, and this disease takes place in the genital area. And what is the causative agent? It is our Chlamydia trachomatis. So this chlamydia disease is caused by bacteria, that is our Chlamydia trachomatis. And what are the symptoms of this chlamydia? In case of male, there will be a painful urination. During urination, there will be a pain. Second, pus-like discharge from the penis. If chlamydia is there, so these problems will be in case of male. And if we talk about the female, again female have also painful urination. Second, they have also vaginal bleedings between the periods or between the menstrual bleeding. There will be a intermittent vaginal bleeding, and if these infection, that is chlamydia, is not treated on time, it will lead to PID, that is most dangerous disease, that is our pelvic inflammatory disease. And this infection, this pelvic infection, can lead to sterility in females. So it is very dangerous for females. So how can we prevent this chlamydia? So, and the most common method of prevention is using barriers, that is our condoms, during the sexual intercourse. And if the disease occur, how we can treat it? By using antibiotics, that is our tetracycline and the erythromycin. So this is our first disease, that is our chlamydia. So second is our syphilis. And what is the infection site? That is the mucous membrane, that is the inner lining in genital area, rectal and the oral areas. And what is the name of agent or the bacteria that cause syphilis? That is a Treponema pallidum. So there are a number of stages in case of syphilis infection. And if we talk about the symptoms at a primary stage, so how can we identify that? Because at primary stage, there will be some structure like this. These are bacteria filled sores, and these are called the cancre, and these are painless. Initially there is no pain if it is at primary stage, and these structures appear on the genital area and the lips. And if it is at secondary stage, these cancre are converted into the lesions. These structures become dry, and we will use the term lesions, and these appear again on genitalia, lips, fingers. And in this stage, mild fever will be there and loss of hairs will be noticed. So this is our secondary stage. And last stage, that is our tertiary stage, these bacteria spreads to internal organs. They starts to moving to different internal organs, and if they reach in the brain, they will lead to the degeneration of the brain. There will be a major problem, and they also damage heart, and they will lead to the paralysis. So it is also very dangerous disease, that is a syphilis, if it is at tertiary stage, because it starts to destroy our internal organs. So what is the method of prevention? That is again using condoms, sex hygiene maintenance, and if it occurs we can treat it by using antibiotic, that is our penicillin. And the last STD is our gonorrhea, and again the infection site is mucous membrane of the urinogenital tract, rectum and the eyes. And what is the causative agent? That is a Neisseria gonorrhea. So it is a causative agent of this gonorrhea disease. And what are the symptoms in both male and female? First, we will see in case of male, there will be a partial, not complete, a partial blockage of the urethra and reproductive tracts. Second, there will be a pus-like discharge from the penis. Third is a burning sensation and pain during the urination that will occur in case of chlamydia also. So the partial blockage of urethra and the reproductive tract is the main symptom of this gonorrhea in case of male, and it also leads to arthritis. And if we talk about the female, in this case it will lead to pelvic inflammatory disease, that is PID, and this PID will lead to sterility, arthritis. And if this bacterial infection occurs in pregnant women, then the infant suffers from disease, that is a gonococcal ophthalmia or ophthalmia neonatorum. It is going to infect the eye of the child, that is called the gonococcal ophthalmia. So how can we prevent this gonorrhea? By using condoms or maintaining sex hygiene. And if disease occur, we can take the medicine, that is our antibiotic.